going to welcome our next speaker in the person of Ebun James. She has a full name, but pardon me to just shorten it so that I will not start killing it. Trust me, guys, you don't want to miss out on any single moment of this. Please pay attention. Please try to avoid distraction because she is actually in the game, so she will give you guys great tips on how you can scale through some of the challenges you are facing at the moment. So please welcome Ebun James. Ebun, please, you have the floor.
Hi everyone, so glad to be here. I hope you got can you hear me?
Oh yes, we can hear you. So nice to have you.
Yes, we can hear you, Ma.
Okay. So glad to be here. I have been here since the beginning of this meeting, and I would say I have learned a lot. I was expecting to anyway, because Femi will be talking, and I know I'm surely going to get some new things, and quite a number of things that I also was going to mention are things that he has mentioned as he spoke. You know, Femi is very gifted at, feeding us back to back with words of wisdom and getting your head to think. So I'm not surprised. I have also learned in this few time that I've joined you guys. So very quickly, I am going to just say that this meeting was about the next wave. So in the light of what we know that's going on in the world right now, which is COVID-19, what we will say as the next wave would be like a scare sentence, right? Like, oh, is another wave coming? Is something bigger coming? And we're going to say, oh, I dodge jam, right? But then in our own case, we would say that to a very large extent, we have dodged a very large bullet in Africa, because to very reasonable extent, two things happen in the food space. The first thing was that COVID-19 has actually accelerated food transformation, has forced us to move years ahead. That means the things that would have taken one day at a time and taking quite a long time to get to are things now that we are forced to start doing because of what's going on in the world, and we have options that are very limited. Secondly is that food services was declared as essential service, and food transportation as well was declared as an essential service even during the lockdown. So we still had people that brought in food from neighboring countries as usual, and so it was not so terrible for the food chain to continue to thrive. So very quickly, I'm going to just say something that, because I know Femi has explained so many theoretical and strategic moves to you guys. I'm not a strategist, I'm just a cook. So what I'm just going to be sharing with you guys is going to be, what do I think the future is going to be for food? What's going on right now? Because the most important thing for all of us is that the world is moving and we must move just as quickly. So one thing I believed, and I heard from Julian Keeler not very long ago, he was in my church to talk about business, and I have not been able to forget that one sentence. He said in years to come that big will not just overtake small, that fast will overtake big. So what that means, in my opinion, is that the big companies are supposed to be the leaders, right? And they're supposed to be the pace setters and people that do big things. But in this case, in our world right now, what I believe is going to happen is that the fast people, the fastest companies, and the fastest business handlers are going to be the ones that will move very quickly, because it's not about the race of how well you can get to your customers, how quickly they can get your message, how much reach you can get. The truth is that every single day, Instagram has a very large number of um, changes they do to their algorithms and all the drama that keeps happening. And sometimes it wants to just discourage you to this Instagram, they are wasting my time. But we have to just be resilient like we've always been and keep cracking on irrespective of what's going on out there, because you never know. Sometimes just one key person that is watching and is going to actually really change everything when they decide to be part of your journey. So now I'm going to say one thing, that COVID-19 has fast-tracked food transformation on so many grounds, and we as foodpreneurs, we need to rethink and re-strategize on all global food systems, what's going on around the world. You have to poke our nose into what's going on around the world so that we can have a clue of what's going on and then be able to tailor it to what's going on our own soil, so that whatever we're doing is not obsolete. It can function here. It can be related with people that are out there. So we're in a very good middle ground. So if we don't check what's going on out there, we could think we're doing fantastic, but then eventually we realize that, oh, we're just local champions and they're doing great on our own soil. But that's not how it should be. We should find out what's going on in the food space all over the world. We read reports from agricultural reports and from companies like McKinsey, because McKinsey and Company to a very large extent cover what's going on in Africa specifically. Sometimes they even specify what's going on in Nigeria, and that will really inform us onto how we can move. So let me go to 4 trends that I think will shape the future of food. 4 trends that will shape the future of food in the coming years. The first one is personalized nutrition. So personalized nutrition has become a thing because for a number of months now, we've had people that have been in their homes compulsorily. So now the lockdown is over, but then we have people that their offices are still closed and they have to work from their homes. We have people that their businesses are not able to work from a physical space or facility, and they have to work from their homes or their home kitchens. And for that reason, what has happened to so many customers is that customers have gotten a little bit more comfortable with their own kitchen. They've gotten a little bit more comfortable with cooking from home. So on a normal day, you'll find out that most people will just hang out in the evening and go to a restaurant to have lunch or to have dinner. But now, if you're working from home, there's no way you're going from your house in, let's say, Ikeja to have lunch in a restaurant in Ikoyi. You know, that doesn't sound very feasible, right? Yeah. So what it is going to be is that people are more focused on, what am I making? What am I eating in my house? And because it's that way, what's happening is that they are more focused on what they're eating and the kind of food they're eating. Now, nutrition, again, like I said, is another key thing. You see, so many people, because of how long they've had to stay in the house, even myself, I noticed that we have added some few inches to our sizes. And so a lot of people are getting more food conscious. One thing I noticed even before COVID started was that a very large amount of people are starting to eat plant-based, are starting to eat healthier. So it just shows that in few years' time, so many things are going to change. People are beginning to get more conscious about what they eat, where their food comes from, and so many other factors that we as foodpreneurs must also take cognizance of when marketing and when putting out our work. So if you're someone that maybe has a bakery, you have to predominantly let the customers know that the things that are in this thing that are not good for you are A, B, C, and D, and we have worked and we have developed things to make sure that this is a little bit better. Another option is to do things that have gluten-free, because we notice that a very large amount of the populace is now going towards gluten-free options. So we have to think about things that are gluten-free. And instead of going far away to look for, let me say, things that are far-fetched, things that we already know that people would find it difficult to buy, or they would just find it a bit more expensive to buy, we can focus on our local produce, because the best way to go further and to scale our business now is to focus on local production, because people more consciously now are trying to find out where their food comes from, and they want to understand the origins of their food. So we have local produce, we have things like acha, like cassava, and we are seeing companies that are embracing those things and using them to make food options for the populace. The second thing that I believe is responsible production and waste. So we know very, very, very well that we need to reduce waste as much as possible. We need to learn to repurpose every single thing from the point of production to the point of use. So I'm not going to give very specific examples because of our time, but I'm going to say very quickly that we can reduce the amount of food loss and waste. And what that means eventually is that more mouths get fed and less people get into that line of poverty that we're currently experiencing due to what has happened all over the world. The third thing I will talk about is that in the food industry, we need to digitalize the entire food value chain. If we think very quickly, we will realize that nowadays, I'm sure a lot of us are on social media, Instagram, etc. We see that there are more farmers online. There are more farmers, I mean poultry farmers, vegetable farmers, and generally. And now you can tell where all your supplies are coming directly from. You can tell how much quantity you need. You can purchase on a weekly basis. And that can really help you to cut food waste, can help you to manage your produce, and can help you to constantly be in supply of the freshest produce possible. You see, for my own business, there's one thing that a lot of people, a lot of customers know me for. If it's not fresh, I won't sell it. If it's not very fresh, in some cases, for things like seafood and some particular vegetables, if it's not very fresh, I still won't sell it. And that's because I know that in the supermarkets keep evolving and they keep having a wide variety of things. So in supermarkets, you can get almost anything to buy. You understand? You can get fish, you can get shellfish like prawns, calamari, lobster, name it. You can get those things to buy by yourself without buying from a food vendor or a caterer. Which works. You understand? It works. So what I'm trying to say is that if someone can in their homes make something and then they have an option of buying from you, you have to make sure that it is worth their while and it is worth their money. So if they know that what they're buying from you can never match what they buy from a shop or from fresh produce in a restaurant, the tendency that they will stop coming is very low. It's more likely that they will keep coming. So what happens in that case is that you have gotten a customer that is going to be a returning customer. And the major customers that keep us all in business are returning customers. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that as much as possible, we have to monitor and tailor our needs to understanding production and eventual use. So for example, very quickly, the food value chain, if you digitalize it, this is how it works. If you tell the customers that you have an order window, you can order from maybe from Tuesday to Thursdays, and you give them a list of all your offerings, and then they have a particular amount of days to buy. What you have done is that you have gotten in the bulk of your work that you have to do in the week, and then you can now specifically know how much you need to get. Example, as a farmer, you know exactly how much produce you need to harvest. So you're not harvesting and losing your produce. In that case, what has happened to you is that you have saved produce that could have been lost. You've saved produce that could have been lost in the process of just harvesting in bulk, in the bid of, oh, I will sell it. I don't know if you get what I mean. So I'm not very used to being virtual, but then I believe that you all understand what I'm trying to say. So we have to monitor that food chain from where we're buying, how much we're buying, and let the customers understand and realize that whatever they're getting from you, optimal quality, fantastic taste, not easily replicable service, and they know that if they buy from 10 people, yours is going to always be a memory that sticks in their head. And that's why they will come back for you, because guess what? Every single day there's a new food vendor. Every single day there's a new food business. The painfulest part of it is that there are some people that don't know anything about food, that don't have much knowledge about food. They have some money, they know people, and guess what? They're going to get into the business that you're in and try to gain market share. And what's going to happen to you? Start struggling for space with someone that doesn't know anything about food. So what do you need to do? You have to keep your A game up. Up so much that the people that are clowns and people that are not a match for your expertise and your professionalism will for sure just stay put. They know their lane, you know yours. You have to keep flying. Once you keep flying high, trust me, business is never the same every day, every week, every month, but you can be sure that there's a sustainability that will keep you in for the long run. The fourth, I am not sure. Yeah, I mentioned the third thing. The third thing is we have to digitalize the entire food value chain, right? The fourth thing is ecosystem orchestration. I don't want to use big words like Femi, so let me just explain what I mean by that. So COVID provides a momentum for food ecosystem collaboration. The pandemic is resulting in food shortages, higher food prices, and inability to meet a lot of customer demands. So it's a leverage point where you can find a niche and capitalize on it. Because in cases like this, you realize that effective collaborations are the best, really. For example, I have a friend that makes premium noodles. So the kind of ramen, not the Indomie kind. There's this ramen noodles that Asians eat a lot of, and it's really delicious. So she makes it. And then I have another friend that makes really earthy, warm, familiar kind of food. She makes lunches for people at work and so many other kinds of food. But what I noticed that really interested me about those two people was that she sells food to people on a daily basis. She makes ramen that could be sold on supermarket stores and could stay there and get stale. But instead of focusing on the supermarkets, she's focusing on giving me, who is a chef, her sample noodles to cook and tell how nice it is. She's giving a chef who cooks on a daily basis her noodles to cook, and that one keeps making experiments and trying new things with her noodles. So what eventually happens is that one of them starts a slurp company. That means it starts like a noodle soup company. So please just tell me very quickly, what do you think is going to happen there? What's going to happen there is that somebody is starting a noodle company knowing full well that where all the noodles that this company is going to use is going to come from one vendor, uncompetitive, because obviously they started together, they were like, partners, they collaborated, that's the word. And because of their collaboration at the initial start that birthed the business, there is a more promissory or something they call, I don't know this big English, but I know that it's like when they say it's sure banker that this person will buy 5 packs of noodles from me every month. And as business owners,
No, go ahead, don't worry. It's fine. You're doing well.
As business owners, there's nothing as beautiful as knowing that somebody's going to buy my markets 10. Like, if you know that on the 10th of the month, somebody's going to buy markets worth 50K, I can tell all my suppliers that the money is coming on the 15th because I know that somebody's going to buy on the 10th. So what has brought about that good thing in the business is what we call effective collaboration. So COVID has actually helped those things. Now on social media, on Instagram, I don't fear to talk to anybody, no matter how big they are. Some people have up to 10,000 followings, but they're not, in my opinion, fantastic. And they might have other leverages on how they did that, but I'm not interested because I just want to grow organically. I want people that like me to like me and people that don't like me to stay where they are, so that it's not about the numbers for me. It's about how much money I'm counting in my DMs. So it's very important that you establish beautiful communication and relationship with people in your space that you believe that they are doing very well. Don't be scared to send them a lovely DM. Oh, I love your work. Oh, I love this thing that you did. It's beautiful. They might not reply you, but I mean, what do you gain or what do you lose by not saying hi? You get what I mean? It's important that you just reach out and stay there, stay in there. Let them know that they're existing. That is, I know you. If you do like you don't know me, I know you. I'm your friend, you are my friend. We have not seen each other, but we love each other, whether you like it or you don't like it. So surprisingly, sometimes you ask for things from them and they give you. You understand what I'm saying? But if you've never reached out to them, if you've never formed a relationship with them for no reason, there won't be any basis for you to go back and ask them for something or have a conversation with them or do business with them. There's something they also do. They call it trading. So somebody that sells burgers and somebody that sells beef are piling up to be friends. Obviously, what that means is that someone that is selling the beef is going to always have constant supply to the person that sells burgers. So effective collaboration is very, very important. So I don't have plenty of things to say, but let me just go back and say something. Customer preferences have turned upside down now. So many things are going to become the norm in a very short time. Things like take home grocery sales. So some people are now used to buying things online. And I don't think that that's going to disappear anytime soon. So it's one thing that is going to continue being. Another thing is that people are beginning to love contactless ordering, payments, pickup, and are likely to stick around even beyond COVID times. So, for example, in my own business, I used to do private catering, and I used to like to do fine dining a lot. When COVID happened, there was absolutely no way to go and do fine dining. First of all, the class of people that love fine dining were the most badly hit by the pandemic. So I, first of all, was scared to service them. And secondly, they are scared to have me because they don't know how seriously I'm taking food safety regulations and all of that. But one thing that happened eventually is that I realized that I can recreate that experience for them by maybe boxing the food or presenting it. I wish I could just show you the slides of some things that I, converted my business into a meat just by switch. But I maybe I sent some of them to Femi, and if he has any mails to send to you guys, he can show you.
Okay.
What
Okay.
I just simply did was that I said people still like to eat nice things. People still like to eat breakfast. People still like to eat things that they can't really make in their homes. And so for this reason, I will not just stop and wait for customers to look for what they can buy from me. I will offer what I think they can have in the comfort of their homes. And that's the main selling point here nowadays, that you can be in your home and have a fantastic life like you think you've always had, even when you were going out. And for that, we that are in the food space have actually done pretty good in this pandemic because who must eat? And if you can just package your food in a way that people will love it, I mean, I believe very strongly that you will do well. Sometimes it's not about how quickly it is, but I know for sure that over time you do very well. Some people ask the very question that I wanted to quickly address. So nowadays, there's provision for direct sales directly from farmers. Examples are the grocery lady. You can check out on Instagram. It's the non-paid ad anyway. You can check out Salma's Garden. There are people that are encouraging the farm to table movement. It's beautiful. Their produce is beautiful. Strawberry season is coming in November, guys. Stay tuned. Nigerian strawberries are most beautiful strawberries. Trust me when I say that. Anyway, so let me go back and say we need to rethink the underlying principles of the food industry, safety, supply, and we need to move towards offerings that are healthy, locally sourced, and things that will encourage customers to want to buy. We also need to think about packaging our food in ways that are a little bit DIY because people love to cook nowadays and they will love to try something different. Think your business in line of something that they can do by themselves is slightly done by you. They would love it, I believe so. And so many businesses are leveraging on that now, like Eris and Gourmet, like also nutrition. That those are kind of things they are doing now, and they will do very well because they obviously have seen that that's going to be the light of what's going on in the near future. So for you to get your traction and look for people that are in your line, look for the people that are high flyers in that industry, follow them, like their comments, talk to them, look for people that are constantly talking to them or constantly buying from them, and then try to also follow those people because the buyers are the buyers, the foodies are the foodies. They are not a bunch of them, but the few of them are the ones that carry the word around to the others. So if you can connect with the main guys, I believe that by and by you can also do very well for yourself and convert some people to your products. Um, I don't know a lot about bakery, but I know one thing for sure. No matter what you're doing, try to step it top notch. If you do cakes before, regular, look for guys that are in places like Australia, Sydney. They're fantastic bakers in those places. Fantastic bakers. Look at their pages. People like Posh Little Cakes, Cakes by Cliff. Their works are amazing. And if you check out what they're doing, so simplistic. Some of them are even doing other jobs during the day and baking at night. And they're successful. So it just simply means that if you can copy from someone that is doing amazing, that is not 100% baker, it means that you know that anything that is successful or fantastic in Australia, you know what's going to happen in Nigeria. People would see it as gold. If you can just do it very lovely, adjust the palate to our own palate, because we don't like things that are overly sweet like they do. But if you can just get a fine line between beautiful presentation and perfect taste on the palate, you have won customers, and trust me, they will keep coming back. That's what we want to do, right? So guys, I hope you liked all that I had to say. COVID has come and gone, and we are still here trying to cook up a storm. And we shall remain here trying to make sure that the people that love us stay loving us and keep coming back and keep referring us to others. So I hope with these 2 points of mind,
Thank you so much, Em. Thank you.
I've been able to convince you guys that food is moving. Stay close to the trends. Move as it moves. Be fast. Because guess what? You can make more money than the guys that are big if you are fast.